Being that the topic tonight is stress, I looked up what the definition of stress is. Stress is your body's way to any kind of demand or threat. When you feel threatened, your nervous system responds by releasing a flood of stress hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol, which rouse the body for emergency action. So, now that we know what stress is, what's some things that causes stress?
Life.
Life. So life, that's a pretty broad, kind of like the word love, isn't it? It's pretty broad.
Work, family situations that come up.
Okay.
Anything that kind of takes you out of your comfort zone.
Okay. Things that take you out of the comfort zone.
Overwhelmed at work expectations, working longer hours.
Okay. Overwhelmed. Work-related issues. What else?
Road rage.
Road rage. What was that?
Road rage.
Oh, road rage. Okay.
I think like being a mom and trying to balance everything, like your normal life and your mommy life, like that can cause you added stress, especially as a new mom for me.
And daddy life.
And daddy life. That's it. There you go. So all these things basically are stress-related issues. Well, here's the next question. When these stress-related issues take place, are they mostly things that's within our control or out of our control?
I think that depends. I mean, I think, like I said, work-related, so just, that's kind of out of our control, unless you're a bad time manager. So that could be our control. So, yeah, it can go either way.
Okay. So like maybe positioning that you have within the job?
Yeah, just the demand. So you really have to time management. And sometimes, you need more time of the day to get things done. That's where you start doing overnighters or late nights, and then you start getting, for me, started eating badly because of that.
Okay. So with this stress that comes in our lives, the things that Dr. Anderson shares, and I wanted to sort of bring to attention to everyone tonight, because there again, we all have the Habits of Health book. We're all trying to figure out, okay, how do we manage this stress? So, so the awakening moment is when the stress is actually happening, when it's taking place. Are we awakened to it being a stress-related issue that we actually can fix at that time or not? Are we actually awakened to that, or do we just dive into the emotion of the reaction, sort of like Katie said, road rage? You dive into that, and then you've already gotten involved. Or do we actually awaken to what's happening and then decide to get stressed or not? Or do we just dive on in and get stressed anyway?
All in, totally stressed. Right from the get-go, that's me.
Okay.
Which I am stressed right now with this because I'm on the iPad and I can't figure out how to see myself. And
that's a good one.
so.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And it's something there again with the iPad. It's something that's sort of out of your. I mean, you're trying to fix it, but it's something out of your control, right?
Right now, because I'm afraid if I touch something, I'll go off. So I'll just stay like this for now.
Okay, there you go. So we were able to have an example of something that's just, it's temporarily, it's stressing us out, but then awakening to, is this something that I can instantly fix, or can I not? So the awakening part is to realize before the emotion engulfs us, to be able to decide if we want to participate. So does this make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, how many of you have experienced awakening to that point to where you've been able to recognize something, and before you dove in with your emotions, were able to catch yourself before you dove in and realized it had nothing to do with you? There was nothing you could do to fix it. Okay, Shannon, can you share that with us? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm on mute. My whole household is around here. My family's in here cooking, but my personal experiences that I've had in the past where I kind of held on to things for a while. And then I figured out I had no control over that or them. It wasn't anything about me. When I detached from it, it made me a whole lot, less stressed. I didn't feel so uptight because it was nothing about me. I couldn't fix it. I couldn't change it. I can only change me the way my thoughts are. I can't change somebody else's thoughts. So you helped me with that, to see that.
Okay, was it a time period, Shannon, whenever, it's like it happened and you maybe got fueled up, but then you maybe didn't react like you had done in the past? And
it was way more peaceful by not reacting. Way more peaceful. Just letting it go.
okay.
Way easier than stewing in it and, feeding into it.
Okay.
Let it go.
We talk about this awakening side, and it's being able to, first of all, we have to recognize it. We have to recognize that first, I'm stressed. I am really stressed right now. So if you bypass the recognizing it, sometimes we get engulfed emotionally in it, and then it sort of gets on us. Sort of like if you jumped into quicksand or something and it's all over you. You can't really get it off, and it's hard to get out. That's sort of how it is. So the being able to first recognize, you have to recognize it instantly. Now, will that happen the first time, just like tomorrow, whenever something stressful happens? Will you go, oh, I'm going to recognize it right off the bat? Or does it take practice?
Takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Because these are habits that you built over years and years and years. And your instant reaction is to just dive into the stress. One of the things that I find very, very helpful as I continue to try to practice this is that when I recognize that something is stressing me, I think about, okay, is me stressing over this going to help benefit this situation in any way, shape, or form? And just by asking myself that question, it always brings me back to, no, this is not the path that I want to go down.
That's a great point there, Alyssa. It's there first, recognize it, and then you took it the step next, which was asking yourself, if I participate in this, will it matter? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah. Does it change anything? Will this help the situation? Will I get anything out of this? What's this going to do for me?
Okay. And that is so true. So it's like, first, awaken to I'm stressed. Second, asking yourself the question, because I think there again, if we bypass, first we have to be able to see it, recognize it, and then we have to ask the question, because if we don't ask the question, sometimes we get we get sort of head first, and then we go, and then we're trying to back ourselves out of it. And so there again is those new habits. Awaken, asking the question. Do you think stress has really become more of an innocent habit that we've all grown accustomed to?
Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it, because you have a habit, you get to deal with it, and it's like tolerate. I think there's a level of toleration. You accept some levels of stress that you can deal with. But yeah, I think over time, you just, it's always there. You have to deal with it.
So you have to deal with it. So what do you think is some promoting the things that sort of promote stress? Because there's different things we're exposed to every day that sort of it plants a seed.
Well, I know one thing for me, if I'm sleep deprived, then I tend to react differently than I would if I was well rested.
That's a good one. I can relate to that one. Do you think that our world tends to promote stress? TV? Do you see stressful things on TV?
I was going to say, just turn on the news. Really?
Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe learned behavior? You think if you had a stressful parent and they talked about things that are stressful, that maybe that stuff gets on you?
Even people that you work with, like today, I noticed a girl, and this is about every day. A coworker comes in my office and just talks about gloom and doom, and it's always sad. And today I was like, hey, let's not do that today. Let's just speak positive words. Say, I am grateful. I'm wonderful. I'm beautiful. I'm powerful. And she's like, and I saw a little glimmer of like, hey, I will. And she goes, well, I might. I go, no. Say, I am, and just continue on, And then later on, she come in my office, same gloom and doom look on her face. She just looked like she was, just so depressed and stressed, I thought, stop doing this to yourself. And it's every day. I think it's a learned behavior for her,
Yeah. So do you see throughout your day, throughout your environment, your workplace, your sometimes family, different things, do you see the majority of what percentage of people would you say out of 100% seem to have very stressful lives?
Most everybody, it seems today, does. It's a rare occasion, really, that you run across someone who, is positive, who really has a positive outlook on life. I know that it's like Shannon was saying, at work, people will come by my cubicle and they're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. And I'm like, oh, I had a girl today who came by and, she's just like, look at this list, look how long it is. And I said, yeah. She goes, well, what should I do with it? I said, you call it job security, girl. That's what you do. You just that. You've got, as long as you've got that list in your hand, you are guaranteed a job. And she's like, I never thought about it like that. So, well, there you go. It's all in the mindset, and it's hard to get people to, it's like you say, in society today, we are so programmed to, look at the negative, look at the, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And look at, instead of saying, oh, what could I do? Same kind of words, but it's a different mindset.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And that's sort of the next question that I wanted to ask, like as a group. So, how do we take our power back and choose not to participate, especially if we're able to awaken as to when it's taking place? So, how do we take back our power and choose not to participate? What's some key reminders, some healthy habits we need to protect, how we can protect our space so that we can live a life that's more joyful, more peaceful, more fun, less stressed? How do you do that?
Spend your day going throughout the day focusing on the things that you are grateful for, because when you do that, your life instantly feels that much more full. And I think it's a really important way and habit to live by.
So gratitude for what is. Gratitude for what is. So do you find whenever you show gratitude for what is, even if you're honest with yourself, I hate my job. Well, so you're saying that if we go into our workplace, yeah, we know we hate our job, but if we repeat, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, and I hate my job, does that make us like almost get sick and feel bad all over?
Definitely.
Yeah. So Joe, you need to say something? You're on mute. I can't hear you.
I've got two things going at once here, so I'm not sure where my video and my audio is at. Sorry. I read a book recently called Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And one of the things that I really took away from that, because I find myself getting stressed and getting frustrated because I don't have control over some things. If I have a problem and I have a plan, then I feel like I'm moving, in the direction of correcting an issue. If it's something I have no control over, that's when I find myself really stressed because I can't do anything about a situation that I think needs correction. But one of the things that she talks about is asking yourself, and I found this works so well, where would I be without this thought? Instead of saying, oh, I hate my job, think to yourself, how would I behave? How would I treat other people? How would I feel myself without this thought? If I couldn't think, I hate my job, or, whatever the situation is, what kind of person would you be? And it's more, it's like when you and I talked before about changing your questions, changing your thoughts and changing your perspective. And I just find that to be so often I'm deep into a stressful situation before I realize it. And then, like you said, you're trying to backpedal and already my blood pressure's up and I'm, anxious and I'm fidgety and I'm having trouble focusing. And then I'm trying to, get to a point where I can handle the situation in a calm manner. But by just asking myself, where would I be, without this thought? How would I handle the situation if I wasn't thinking this, if I couldn't think this, has really helped.
That's good. And I love that what you said. Where would I be without this thought? I mean, that's powerful because, there again, it's the thoughts and it's the stories that we rehearse and we tell ourselves over and over and over. And we really are desperate for change, but the story's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're trying to awaken, we're trying to slow down and ask ourselves before we choose to participate and then recognize that we don't have to participate because it has nothing to do with us. It's out of our control. And we're really learning this new habit of only allowing the stress, managing the stress, recognizing where it belongs, and if we want it to consume us or not. What's some ways that once we learn this new habit, what's some ways to strengthen it to where it will continuously, it'll last, it will go on and on and on? Because do you find that having support from other like-minded people makes a big difference?
Absolutely.
it helps you to feel like you're not by yourself.
Some days I just have to run out and see Debbie.
There you go. Because sometimes
She perks you up. She really does. Everybody will tell you that. It's always something. Somehow her sense of humor is just unique.
there you see that's what a blessing. What a blessing. So staying connected to like-minded people. Is it okay to get engulfed in a bunch of stress stuff that you shouldn't have?
You can't help but to sometimes, you know, you can't help but fall into that. We're human, you know.
Sort of like the program. If you messed up one day and you eat off the program, you know, does it mean that it's the end of the world? No. It just means that today I was just engulfed in something that took me out of my structure. So it's the same thing with stress. So staying connected to like-minded people. Now, I'm a big fan of YouTube University. YouTube University, if there's anything that I want to, if I'm feeling down, because I feel down too. And I'm sure Debbie probably feels down too, even though she's this little Energizer bunny, but she may have down days too. But it's whenever we do have those down times, it's like I can go pull up something that's pertaining to my feelings, what I'm feeling, so that way that I can go and maybe connect with something that's going to help pull me out of that. I'm fortunate enough to have my daughter just a few steps away from me now, so there's that growth partner, which is huge. So that's important, to have someone that you can be real with. You can say, "Hey, I'm mad. I'm engulfed in this stress and you know." There's times with myself, I could take myself to the bathroom and wear myself out for just participating in something that I shouldn't have been participating in. So it's being real with ourselves. Realizing you're not alone. None of us are by ourselves. We're all together in this. And as long as we have those people that we can feel safe with, that we can share the truths with, there's a big chance that we can be able to move forward. Now, for those who read books, I know several on the screen probably have read this one. This was a biggie for me because I was really big with making assumptions. How many of you make assumptions? And the assumptions sometimes can pull us into a stressful situation, can it not? Okay, so a good book I want to share with everyone. If you want to write this down, you can. But it's called The 4 Agreements. And you get to learn about these 4 agreements. And one of those is assumptions. And I think as a human race, I think that's an easy trap for us to all fall in, is the assumption pile. We don't mean to do that, but it happens. But that's a good book to realize that, you know, don't assume anything. Don't make up stories. If you're going to make up a story, make it up good. Make it up something that's going to make your body feel good, to where it's not going to put off that stress, those endorphins and that all the stuff that causes us to go mad. What about this one? How many of us really feel our feelings, or do we try to push them somewhere else?
Push.
Why? Why do we push? Why do we try to get rid of them?
I don't know, you know? I don't really know. That's a hard question for me. But sometimes I guess you just don't want to, accept it, I guess. I don't know. So if you don't try not to think about it, then I don't know, Lisa. You know me.
Bill, anybody else got any insight on that? Why is it that maybe we try to suppress I know Hannah's been talking about that with me today, about feelings. Hannah, do you have any insight on it?
I think everybody has had a different raising in their life. And I think that's the most beautiful part about humanity is learning each other. We all have the same abilities, and one of our main abilities is to love. But we have a really hard time loving ourselves because we try to love outside of ourselves more. And I don't know why we did that, but sometimes by doing that, we suppress so much of our love and what we need for ourselves because we do give it all away, which causes stress. A lot of people don't realize that, but whenever you're feeding and fueling everything else outside of you, you don't leave enough for yourself. So I always talk a lot about self-worth and how if you focus on yourself first, that's not a selfish act. It's actually you feeling like you're worth it. You feeling like you love yourself again. Because once you find that love, your cup is so overflowing that you're able to do way more and be way better for other people in your life. And a lot of us don't think like that. But going back to suppression, I think we do bite our tongues a lot. We feel that, oh, I'm not going to say that, or oh, I'm not going to say this, or, this is how I really feel, but I'm going to hold it to myself. We hold all that rawness to ourselves, and before you know it, it builds up like a time bomb inside of us to where one day we're freaking exploding. We're just like, and that's just your stress bomb. It's like you vomit all over somebody, or you get irritated, or you're mad, or whatever it is, but it's all because of those suppressed emotions, all the things that you did not say. And I think one thing that's really helped me not to suppress anything is getting a journal. I've been journaling since I was like 12, and it's amazing going through those things and actually seeing where my mind was and how I was able to overcome these things in my life. And I think if you take that time to journal about your day, whatever is in your mind, just getting that stuff out on paper is going to help you to be able to see what's really going on in your life, to where you can go, okay, do I want this to be my life right now? Or does this really matter? Or, can I control this or can I not? It's going to be a lot easier for you to filter through those things and not suppress your emotions to where it does cause you to react to stuff later on in life. So that's just been my study for the past week on suppressing your emotions and stuff.
Is there anyone else use some different ways? Because and actually, I'm gonna touch on what Hannah said. Hannah was supporting someone else today, and what I heard her doing with them was asking a lot of questions. A lot of the times, whenever we're having these feelings, we forget to ask ourselves questions. Why am I feeling this way? Well, and then you hear, and I know it sounds crazy. It's like you're talking to yourself, but you are talking to yourself. You need to talk to yourself. Well, I'm feeling this way because I'm sad. Well, why am I sad? It's change your questions, change your life. You start asking those questions about your feelings, and sooner or later you will get to the core of the root of the problem of why you're feeling the way that you are, which that feeling is leading, if by being suppressed, is leading you into a stressful kind of path. So asking questions, don't forget to ask yourself questions about why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. It's okay to feel the way you're feeling. It's human. So somebody gonna say something? I'm just looking at some of my notes. So if we're able to identify the stress, we then can choose to add joy at any time into that stressful situation. Just like, for instance, this is just a story, but say, for instance, Hannah was to say, hey, Mom, I want you to, if you can, keep Ocean for me this afternoon. Well, guess what? I'm getting excited, right? Woohoo! I'm getting excited because Ocean's going to get to come play with Grandma. Well, then and then all of a sudden Hannah says, hey, Mom, we've changed our mind. He's not going to come. We're just going to keep him with us. Okay. So at that point in time, I could be in a worked up kind of mode and being irritated because I had my plans already laid out, how it was going to be. but it's like being able to take that of what that I wanted to happen and turn it into a joyful situation. So, you know what? I didn't get to see him tonight, but I might get to see him tomorrow. And woohoo, tomorrow's going to be a good day whenever we get to see each other. You see what I'm saying? So it's like any moment at any time, you can take a stressful situation and you can make it joyful just as quickly as you can. But you got to tell yourself the story. You got to tell yourself the more joyful story that you want it to be. And that takes practice, skill sets, learning how to be able to do that. Okay, what some things, sometimes we need distractions, right? We need some distractions to distract us from the stress. So Dr. Anderson, chapter 21, he talks about stress. And he talks about things that we can do to maybe, it's not really that you're trying to run from the stress, but sometimes we just need to fill our minds with something other that's going to be more, it's going to add more value to us. So he had a list of things, and this is found on page 273 in your Habits of Health. But you may want to take up a new hobby. You know, find something that's going to make a pattern interruption within your programmed mind of how every day is. Because don't you agree sometimes we can burn ourselves out just by telling the same story and doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over? Maybe take up a new hobby. What about arts? You know, how many of you are very creative and, you know, artistic? Maybe you love to paint. Maybe you love to take pictures. Maybe you love to just be outside in nature, those kind of things, and do an art project with stuff you find in nature. How many of you even spend time in nature? How many of you go outside and just really take all that in? I know I showed Danny your picture with the skis, the snow skis. I said, check out Debbie. They're just, I said, this is what they do for fun. We're out in Samurais, you're on skis. But exploring nature. What about just getting in touch with your spiritual side, going down deep and just, you know, getting to know you a little bit more, a little bit deeper than, you know, where you're at. There's always room for growth in all these areas. What about spending time with others? You know, and it's so great whenever you can do what you love and love what you do. And whenever you wake up with that attitude every day, today I'm going to do what I love and I'm going to love what I do. And you've got that attitude before you go off into your day, and you'll be amazed at how you will see so many more beautiful things that will appear in front of you that will really take the stress. I mean, just, I don't know, you don't focus on the stress as much anymore. So, I think this has been helpful, and I really do think that there again, we're all in this boat together, and stress is real. It comes, and it comes. Sometimes it comes often, sometimes it doesn't. But you can always count on every week. There's going to be some stress that's going to come, but it's basically how we manage it to first awaken that I'm stressed. Can I control this? Can I not? And then choose to participate in it. And then whenever you choose to participate, being okay with the reaction that your body's gonna give you, whether it's sleepless nights, whether it's craving you know, sugary foods and carbohydrates and you're off plan, whether it's you know, fussing within your home or whatever, you know, you just have to be okay with the results that it gives. But if you don't want to go in that route, then master your skills of awakening and asking yourself the questions that you need. So with that, anybody have any comments, takeaways, ahas that they want to share?
I know y'all have heard me talk a lot about the book Power of Positive Thinking. And that one is one that I read it over and over and over again because it's really got a lot of good strategies and a lot of good techniques on how to be positive in any given situation. And another thing, it's hard. It is very hard, especially sometimes when things get really stressful. Don't complain. Be grateful for every little thing. And it really does help. Some, it's hard when you're around somebody who complains all the time, but if you can just kind of block that out, because I know when you work around people who complain constantly, it can be difficult, but it can be done.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody has to lead in those situations. It's like that stuff can get on you. You can either join the party or you can lead the party, and that's sort of how I look at it. So, and there again, I think everything is such habit. People don't even recognize that they're saying it or doing, it's just part of it. It's just part of the world that we live in, but it's promoted. Why do you think they have the drug commercials on TV and all the comfort foods on TV and all if you're not satisfied, call your attorney on TV. I mean, they want you to, have a plan there in case you're not happy. So why not just be happy? And there was something I wanted to read out of Dr. A's book too, that just in closing of the health coaching thing, but it says the master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his information and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing. To him, he's always doing both. I thought that was pretty powerful. So anyway, anybody else have anything to say before we close off and go to the coaching scene? I think this has been great, and I really do appreciate everyone's participation, because they're together. Like I said, everybody's input is powerful, and it where we can grow and be better today than we were yesterday. That's the magic behind it. So, but anyway, for those that are not coaches, once again, we appreciate you, and you can come back and join us next week at this time, and we'll have a new topic to talk about, and we love your participation as well. So we're going to go on to the coaching scene. So everyone on here is coaches. I think we've got a few callers that are on. So we're going to actually take this topic on